What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about this article I came across from the Washington Examiner that is actually referencing an article from the Washington Post. Now I wanted to cover this because as YANGMENTUM continues to build up, Yang is now starting to get a little bit more attention. There's going to be more articles written about him, more interviews and things like that. And this particular Washington Examiner article does something that is completely disingenuous. Now, to be fair, it is an opinion piece, but the Washington Examiner's piece is called Andrew Yang's free $1,000 per month welfare scheme was tried in Mississippi. The results were not a surprise. Whereas the Washington Post article is called $1,000 a month, no strings attached. And of course, if someone's Googling Andrew Yang to find out more information, they're going to find the Washington Examiner article, which really does not do UBI justice. Now, with that said, there are issues with UBI that even I have, but the Examiner's article is completely disingenuous. It doesn't even talk about legitimate criticisms of UBI. So the article is written by Eddie Scari. Sorry if I said that wrong. The Post is basically talking about this program that was created in Mississippi to give 20 low-income black single mothers $1,000 a month. And basically the article is talking about how that played out. Now, this already is the first issue I have with the Examiner article. The reason why the Washington Post did not put Andrew Yang and UBI or anything like that in the title is because this is not universal basic income. The program in Mississippi is for low-income single mothers, whereas UBI is technically for anyone over the age of 18 regardless of income. Secondly, UBI isn't welfare, it becomes a fundamental right of anybody who's a citizen. The article gets right into the first 30 days after the women have received their $1,000. The article says some of the women talked about their gift-filled Christmases, sported new hairstyles. Some said they took a sick day for the first time. They began paying off overdue electricity bills. Kyra Johnson, a social worker, asked how much money the women had saved. I blew it all, Grace said. It only took a weekend. Most of the women said the same thing. In a month, nearly all of the money had vanished. With UBI, Yang lists one of the benefits of UBI as people spending the money. It's universal, it's guaranteed to everybody. You can do whatever you want. You can save it, you can invest it, you can go buy a car, you can use it to go to school. You can do whatever you want with your freedom dividend. In the Washington Post article, they're just explaining the results, whereas the Examiner is kind of judging these people for how they use their money. The Post is not guilty of anything here, but the Examiner, of course, is trying to play on the whole race component, the low income factor, when the reality is this could probably be anybody. Also, going back to the title, the other issue I have with this is the fact that because this article is specifically talking about a social worker and the women that she works with, one of the biggest offenses here is the fact that UBI is optional. If one of these women is receiving more than $1,000 a month, they don't also get UBI. They have to choose. Do they want to choose the $1,000 a month, no strings attached, or do they want to continue getting whatever they're getting from food stamps, whatever? Like if they're getting $700 in food stamps, they would only get $300 of the freedom dividend. They wouldn't get the full 1,000. So the Washington Examiner is being dishonest. The article goes on, wow, it's almost as if these people who are given a bunch of money without having earned it and without any conditions attached to it feel less of a sense of responsibility in how they use it. But another thing I think is missing here is the fact that UBI is actually probably going to benefit middle America more than anybody else. People who are in a, let's say, two-parent household with 2 kids, we'll say they're making $120,000 a year, they're probably not getting much government assistance, if any at all, and therefore they're going to be able to put $24,000 a year into whatever they want. So interestingly, this article talks about how the freedom dividend is welfare, but the reality is the people who are going to benefit most from UBI are middle Americans, people who aren't receiving any government assistance at all currently. The story went on to say that women were largely clueless about saving money, using banks, developing good credit for that, and needed more guidance and support. Democrat terms for more programs. After 6 months, the number of women in the group who were working hadn't changed. 15 had been employed at the start and 15 remained employed at the end. Of the ones who did have jobs, they were not making much more money than the women who were not attached to the workforce. He concludes poverty is a real problem, probably one that will never be solved, at least by all of us giving money to people who are in it. The geeky $1,000 per month gimmick was tried in Mississippi, and this proves it. That's where the Washington Examiner article ends. Based on all the things I pointed out, this is not at all UBI. This is a completely separate program. It has nothing to do with UBI, it has nothing to do with Andrew Yang. This is not at all what Andrew Yang is proposing. I think it's extremely dishonest that someone would even write this piece. I'm pretty sure they have a pretty good idea of what Andrew Yang's actual policies are, and these are not them. Let's hop back over to the Washington Post to talk about how this story actually ended. So one of the big things that was kind of missed in the Washington Examiner article is the fact that in the period between months 2 and 6 are actually significantly different than the first month. Now, the main subject of this article is someone who, it sounds like, has graduated college and is thinking about going to graduate school. She's got children, she's a single mother, obviously low income, and she's trying to get out of this situation. And this $1,000 a month is going to make a significant difference in her life. As the Examiner article ended that this exposed the truth about poverty, the Post article goes on to say the women knew how to make their minimum wage checks stretch, but they didn't know how to handle discretionary income. In other words, they've been just trying to get by this entire time. They've never been in a situation where they've had extra money. Interestingly, after these women were given a financial advisor, the main subject in the article actually started to save money. One of the women used the extra money to take time off and finish community college. Some sent their children to day camp. One woman filled her gas tank to drive her children to see their grandfather in Pennsylvania. The children had never met him. At the end of 6 months, none of the women reported using an emergency lender. That was one of the other points at the beginning of the article. Most of the women had reported using some type of, I'm guessing like a payday loan type of thing prior to receiving this $1,000. Nearly all had enough money to buy school supplies when fewer than half said they had before. They reported cooking more balanced meals, visiting the doctor, and attending church more often. Now, to be fair, the article does point that Yang suggests that people will actually start working, but also to be fair, these are single parent females who have decided to stay home with their children, and that's their right. These women are more involved in the children's lives if they're less stressed and they're able to be better parents. Maybe that means their children aren't a problem that society has to deal with later on in life. As the story winds down, one of the participants in the program, basically she's grown her account to $2,000. She's saved $2,000 so far. She decides she wants to leave the projects. She signs up for Habitat for Humanity, begins rehabbing a home, and after 9 months, she saved almost $13,000 and she's about to move into her brand new house. You see the very different depictions of what actually happened here. The Post gives the full picture, and then we see how the results are actually very different than what was portrayed in the Examiner article. This article completely misses the fact that one of the biggest components to UBI is quality of life. As the article winds down, the young lady who's sitting on, the $12,000 or $13,000 is now talking about how now she's not worried about money. Most of us don't go to work currently because we're looking for enjoyment or satisfaction or fulfillment. We go to work simply for the money, which again is why he wants to change the scorecard to be about more than just GDP. It's more than about how much money we have, how much money we produce, or how many goods we have. It's also about the quality of the life that we're living. For now, I just wanted to go ahead and make this video, hopefully provide a little bit more clarity as to the way UBI would work. Basically, I just wanted to disqualify this article as a legitimate source. It's not a fair assessment of the program, and I just can't let that go down. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like, subscribe for more, and I will see you guys in the next one.